The Steelers are slow playing this offensive line, man. They're absolutely slow playing this offensive line. And I've talked about it, and I'm going to continue to talk about it until the Steelers fix this damn thing because I'm tired of it. I'll just be quite frank with you. I am tired of it. Look, the Steelers are basically rotating 3 tackles. That's what's going on. They're rotating Dan Moore, Broderick Jones, and Troy Fautanu. And from everything that we have seen, I don't get it. Here's the thing. Neither Zach Frazier or Troy Fautanu have been in the lineup. Now, we'll start with Fautanu first. From what we've heard and what we've seen, Fautanu's doing his thing. He's playing physical. He's playing athletic. His technique and footwork and hand placement have been off the charts. At some point, you got to say, okay, it's time to get this guy running with the ones. He's still running with the twos. I have no idea why. It makes absolutely no sense other than when you're doing team drills, maybe going against, because it's the ones versus the twos, he's getting all that work against TJ Watt and Nate Herbig, and he's doing his thing. And maybe that's what they're wanting to see happen. But I know he's playing physical. I know he's been out there in run blocking and in pass protection. Troy Fautanu has shown everybody why he was really a top 10 talent that the Steelers were able to steal at number 20. That's what he's been showing. It's time to get him in the starting lineup, people. I'm tired of the nonsense, okay? I'm just tired of the nonsense. Now, moving on to Zach Frazier. We talked about it earlier. He just hasn't done anything to wow you. Having said that, just because he's not wowing you doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be out there. I am under the impression, and I'm going to say this, and there's going to be people that disagree. Please disagree in the comments, and we'll go back and forth with it. If Nate Herbig was such a good center, he'd have been starting last year. I don't care what anybody says about that. Mason Cole was horrific. He was absolutely horrific. So if Nate Herbig was good enough to be the starting center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they would have put him in the lineup last year. Don't give me the excuse, well, Kenny Pickett got hurt and we were shuffling quarterbacks. And what difference does that make? That makes zero difference. You're telling me because you were shuffling quarterbacks in and out and you didn't know who was going to be in and out at that position, then you're going to put a subpar blocker out there at center position when you could have put somebody out there that was better? No, I don't believe that. I don't buy that for a second that they decided, well, we're going to keep putting this guy out there that's inferior to somebody else because we are shuffling quarterbacks. Don't give me that excuse. It was a mistake. Or Nate Herbig really isn't good enough to be the center on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's got less than 50 snaps of experience in the National Football League. Less than 50. That's not even a game. Well, okay, you could say Zach Frazier doesn't have any. Well, he's got a hell of a lot at college. And don't get me wrong, I understand college is not the pros, but at least he's got, at the position, he's got some experience. Nate Herbig doesn't have a lot of experience, period, at the position. Get Zach Frazier in the lineup. It's time. It's time. And for God's sake, why is Broderick Jones the swing tackle? Lord have it. At what point are we done with this Dan Moore Jr. experiment? Why does Broderick Jones, who we've been told is the left tackle of the future, why do we have to stunt his progress for somebody else? I'm sorry. It's time. Put him, and again, this whole notion of, well, you got to earn the job. Hey, man, why does everybody else got to earn the job? Dan Moore Jr. didn't earn the job. He got drafted as a rookie, and he started day one. Why can't Broderick Jones? Are we thinking Broderick Jones isn't as good? Because the Steelers are telling us that that's not the case. Matter of fact, the Steelers are saying they're done with Dan Moore Jr. because they've taken 2 tackles in the first round of the last 2 drafts. So clearly they believe that they need to upgrade. Well, put the guys on the field, for crying out loud. And I don't want to hear that it's early. I don't. And I know earlier I talked about it's still early in camp. Why are we messing with the offensive line, though? Why can't we get the guys out there that are going to play and get them the most reps working together, gelling together? Why can't we do that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to slow play this offensive line. It just doesn't. And again, I'm not bashing Dan Moore Jr. We love his effort. We love all of that. But it's not just the fans that are telling you that he hasn't been good. It's not just PFF that had him graded as, I think, the second worst offensive tackle in the league. It isn't them. The Steelers are telling you with their draft picks that they are over Dan Moore Jr. So why can't the coaching staff and put those guys out there? Oh, it's just driving me insane. It really is driving me insane. I just don't know. At some point, we just got to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Early in camp, I don't buy it. It's time to get those guys out there. It's just time. It's just time. Dan Moore Jr., if he doesn't want to be the swing tackle or is incapable of being the swing tackle, fine. That's fine. I wouldn't trade him unless we, like I said, 5th round pick, then we can trade him. But it's time for him to be out of the starting lineup and to get Broderick Jones at left, Troy Fautanu at right, and let's get this going. Oh, by the way, let's please put Zach Frazier at center, and let's just get this thing moving, people. Let's get it moving. Let's get it moving.